For the Feast of St. Andrew, I shall read from a part of chapter 133 of the poem of the man God, which gives us an example or an insight into St. Andrew's character and how Jesus understands it. This vision is given to Maria Valtorta on the 18th of March 1945. There are no pilgrims at the clear water. It is a strange sensation to see the place without any people stopping there for the night, or taking their meals on the threshing floor or under the shed. Everything is clean and tidy today, without any of the traces that crowds usually leave. The disciples spend their time in manual work. Some make wickerwork fish traps. Some dig out the ground to make drains for the rainwater, and thus prevent it from stagnating on the threshing floor. Jesus is standing in the middle of a meadow, crumbling bread for some sparrows. There's not a soul as far as the eye can see, notwithstanding the clear day. Andrew, who is coming back from an errand, goes towards Jesus and says, "Peace to you, Master." "And to you, Andrew. Come here with me for a moment. You can stay here near these little birds. You are like them. See? When they know that who goes near them loves them, they are no longer afraid. See how confident, safe and happy they are. Before, they were almost near my feet. Now that you are here, they're on the lookout. But look, there's a bolder sparrow, which is coming forwards. It has realized that there's no danger, and the others are following it. See how they eat to their fill? Is it not the same with us, the children of the Father? He sates us with his love. And when we are sure that we are loved and are asked to be his friends, why should we be afraid of him or of ourselves? His friendship must make us bold also with men. Believe me, only a criminal must be afraid of his fellow creature, not a just man like you. Andrew blushes, but does not say anything. Jesus draws him to himself and smiling says to him, "You and Simon should be put into one crucible to be melted and formed again. You would then be both perfect. And yet, if I told you that although you are so different now, you will be perfectly identical to Peter at the end of your mission, would you believe me?" "If you say so," said Andrew, "it must be certain. I will not even ask how that may happen, because everything you say is true. And I will be happy to be like my brother Simon, because he is just and makes you happy. Simon is clever, and I'm so happy that he is clever. He is also brave and strong, but also the others." "And you are not," says Jesus. "Oh, I. You are the only one who can be satisfied with me. And I'm the only one to realize that you work noiselessly, but more deeply than the others," says Jesus. "Because amongst the 12 disciples, there are some who make as much noise as the work they do. There are some who make much more noise than the work they do. And there are some who do nothing but work. A humble, active, ignored work. The others may think that they do nothing, but he who sees knows. There are such differences because you are not yet perfect. And there will always be such differences amongst future disciples, also amongst those who will come after you, until the angel will thunder, 'Time no longer exists.' There will always be ministers of Christ who are equally able to work and to draw upon themselves the eyes of the world. They are the masters. And unfortunately, there will be also those who are nothing but noise and exterior gestures, false shepherds with a histrionic attitude. Priests? No, they are mimers, nothing else. Gestures do not make the priest. Neither does the cassock. Neither worldly knowledge nor mighty worldly relations make the priest. It is his soul, so great a soul as to crush the flesh. My priest is completely spiritual. That is how I dream him. That is what my holy priests will be like. The Spirit has neither the voice nor the attitude of the stage player. It is insubstantial because it is spiritual, and therefore it cannot wear pepler or masks. It is what it is: spirit, fire, light, love. It speaks to the spirits. It speaks with the chastity of eyes, of gestures, of words, of deeds. Man looks and he sees a fellow creature. But what does he see above and beyond the flesh? Something that makes him slow down his hurried steps, that makes him meditate and conclude, this man who is like me has only the appearance of man. He has the soul of an angel. If he's a misbeliever, he concludes, because of him, I believe that there is a God and a heaven. And if he's lustful, he says, this fellow creature of mine has heavenly eyes. I will restrain my sensuality so that I may not desecrate them. And if he's a miser, he decides, because of the instance of this man who is not attached to riches, I will stop being a miser. And if he's a man quick to anger or a cruel fellow, in front of a gentle person, he'll become more quiet and calm. That is what a holy priest will be able to do. And believe me, amongst the holy priests, there will always be some ready to die for the love of God and of their neighbour. And they will do it so quietly, after practicing perfection throughout their lives also very quietly, that the world will not even notice them. But if the whole world does not become utter lewdness and idolatry, it will be through these heroes of silence and loyal activity. And their smiles will be like yours, pure and timid. Because there will always be some Andrews. They will exist through the grace of God and for the fortune of the world. Andrew says, I did not think I deserved such words. I'd done nothing to provoke them. You helped me to attract a heart to God, says Jesus. And it is the second one that you've led towards the light. Oh, says Andrew, why did she speak? She'd promised. No one has spoken, says Jesus. But I know. When your tired companions rest, there are 3 sleepless people at the clear water. The apostle of the silent, active love for his brother sinners, the creature urged by her soul towards salvation, and the Saviour who prays and keeps watch, who waits and hopes, my hope, that a soul may find salvation. Thank you, Andrew. Continue like that and be blessed for it. Oh, Master, do not say anything to the others. When I'm alone with a person, speaking to a leprous woman on a deserted beach, or speaking here to a woman whose face I do not see, I'm still capable of doing very little. But if the others, and above all Simon, know about it, and they want to come, then I'm not able to do anything at all. You must not come either. I'm shy of speaking before you. I will not come. Jesus will not come. But the Spirit of God has always been with you. Let us go home. They are calling us for our meal. And it all ends between Jesus and his gentle disciple. And before I finish this video, just to let you know that if you've watched my other videos, you'll have noticed, particularly I think when I was doing a video about St. Peter's first introduction to Jesus, you see how we learn that St. Peter is the dominant personality in his relationship with his brother St. Andrew. And in fact, at one point Jesus asks Andrew why he did not come earlier, and Andrew says, I did not dare. And then we're told that Maria Valtorta sees Peter blushing at this. Obviously Peter had intimidated Andrew not to go back to see Jesus, although Andrew wanted to. So he's under his brother Peter's shadow, and we can gather that in what I've just read. Then when it comes to the good silent work that Jesus is referring to, that Andrew does, as the particular work of a woman called Aglae. Now Aglae is an ex-prostitute. When Jesus goes to Hebron, and this is sometime before the incident I've just described, he's going there to see the tombs, to pray at the tombs of the parents of St. John the Baptist. That is St. Elizabeth and St. Zechariah. But John the Baptist, who inherited the remains of the estate of those two deceased persons, because the estate had been, I think part of it had been taken away by the Romans. St. John the Baptist has inherited them, but because he's now in prison by virtue of Herod's order, the estate has been taken over, and we've got now in there some rich man, probably a heathen, and there's a girl in there, and she's called Aglae. She's a prostitute because she's there to entertain this man who at that point is absent. And so that's how Jesus first encounters her, and that begins her conversion. She comes to this place called the Clear Water, which is a place that Jesus and the apostles stay for a time. And she's completely covered up, so her face is concealed, her body's concealed. And Andrew, she encounters Andrew, and Andrew is trying to help her come closer to Jesus. And that's the person whom Jesus is referring to when he describes how Andrew works silently, unknown to the other apostles.